my trading rant at these traders. Hi, it's Charlie giving you this week's video. So, I was at a trading show just a week or so ago, and I came away from this trading show, and there's lots of trader gurus there. And some of the trader gurus there are genuine. There's some really good guys that you get at these trade shows. Steve Ward is a really good example of that, a big trader psychologist. But there's a lot of bad stuff that I see at these trading shows, and what I pick up on from people who come up to me and are talking to me about these people. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift the lid on what our industry does, and I think it's a filthy, dirty industry, the trading education industry. So I'm going to lift the lid on what these traders say and do to fool you and fool many traders out there into buying their programs, whatever, software, you name it. And so let's go there. First and foremost, though, before I start pointing the finger at some people, I need to just make this clear. As I am a trader educator as well. I have a trader education company. I love doing it. I've been doing it since 2002. But I'm only one of two or three, probably about three of us that I know of in the UK who are fully authorized money managers as well. So I put my neck on the line. I'm authorized under an asset management company, and I manage money professionally under that. So I'm on the FCA register. You can check me out over there as well. So because if you want, in my view, if you want to be a trader educator, why would you not do that? Why would you not do that? Now, they'll come up with all the reasons why they won't do it. I'll leave that to you, because bear in mind, you have to have a trading track record, a genuine one, not a made up one on my FX book, which is very easy to manipulate, of course. You have to have a genuine track record to show to the regulators in order for you to be authorized. So I just want to get that out there first of all. I love what I do. I'm in my trading room with my traders because I love it. I just love chatting with traders every day of the week. So, but like I said, in order to do that, I think you need to have some form of authorization, regulation behind you. And most trader gurus do not, and there is probably a good reason why not. So let's lift the lid here, and now I'm going to start pointing the finger about some of the things they get up to. So I'm there at this show. I'm not walking around because I'm there in support of the show organizer there, who I really like. Known him for the, well, best part of 20 years. Anyway, so I'm told that there's a couple of my members were there just wandering around, and one of them said, oh yeah, there was this woman saying that she'd made 1,000% in the last 6 weeks, and of course trying to get this person to join her whatever community trading course, whatever it was that she was selling. Now the thing is this sort of stuff, this is just one example, I've got loads here. This is the sort of stuff that, again, for some people, they're going to fall for it. Because unfortunately, we're all suckers for a financial deal sort of thing where we think we can make some big bucks. The bottom line is, and as I always say, I've got relationships with a number of brokers. There aren't traders out there making 1,000% in a 6 week. I'm not saying that you can't, that it's not possible to do, because it really is. So sorry, I just had to answer the door there. It's not that you can't make 1,000%. Of course, could someone with £1,000 turn into 10,000? Yes, they could. The potential's to do it, but when you get trader gurus telling you this sort of stuff, you've really got to see through it. They've got an agenda there as well. So I don't want to put people off, but like I said, I've got relationships with brokers, and they're very best traders. I'm not saying that the scope to make massive returns isn't there. I hear stories about where people have done it, but not in the space of 6 weeks, and not regularly like that. So anyone who's telling you those sorts of numbers are lying. They're lying to you, because I've got brokers who deal with some of the very best traders, and So what are the very best traders doing? Consistently, couple 100% a year. And there are some ex-bankers out there who trade personally at some of the top brokerages and are making that sort of money. They're taking it out. Don't forget the compounding. They're taking the money out. So they'll keep margin in a trading account of a few 100,000, make a couple 100% on that, and then take that money out, and that's what they do. Okay. So that's that one. Don't know who the person was. I was just referred to this story. Then I walk out and there's this chap giving a presentation, and he's talking about, and again, you hear this all the time. So they'll say, "Oh, one of my members of my community," they use that sort of language. Oh, he turned a £1,500 account into £40,000. So again, what they're doing is they're subtly selling you the undercurrent of, so some of your members, whatever that he calls them, I don't know if it's a community or whatever, people who've bought his courses, whatever it might be, have made these humongous returns on a trading account. Oh, maybe I could be like that person. So that's another little subtle trick when they start talking to you about how well their whatever course members or whatever you call them, subscribers have done. Then you get the more, so to me that sort of stuff is so obvious it's just ridiculous. Plus I know that guy, he's been around for years, complete and utter shark. A lot of these people are sharks. I'm seeing other people there where I've been given presentations only a year or so ago, and they've been in the audience at one of my presentations, and then working the room in the break, trying to, get customers for themselves. It's so ugly. So you've got all these people there. There's just a couple of people who are good people there. Then we got people, and I'm not talking about just this show now. So then you've got the whole online stuff. You've got all these youngsters on Instagram and all of that talking about funded accounts. Most of those, they're very, very good at getting big followings. And then what they do, they show all these supposed funded account returns. They're usually in with the funded account providers because they get a kickback on encouraging people to join those funded account providers. So that's a story in itself. So they get a kickback in that. Then you get people, again, who are a bit more subtle. But this is what they do. So you'll get people who, they'll use things like a Telegram channel and then post trades. Yes, I post trades and I don't charge you for following my trades. But of course, they're using a brokerage account. And by proxy, if you're following a given trader and you think, well, that given trader, they're making loads of money and they're using this brokerage account, you end up opening accounts with that brokerage account. They're making a load of money on a kickback in commissions on what you're doing with them. So they build up these big followings and make a big thing that they're not charging their customers, but it's because they're getting it through the back end. They don't necessarily force you to open an account with the broker, but by de facto, a lot of people will open accounts with that given broker. They end up getting a load of kickbacks in commissions. And I hear these stories because I know these people out there, and I know the brokers that they're going to, desperately asking them, please set me up with an IB deal. And then you get other traders who will be on likes of Telegram, and then they skew their results. So what they'll say is, I'm a fast track trader, put a trade on. So you imagine, and you're watching, they've got their Telegram channel here. Okay, right, long, right. So their long message has come through at 9:01, let's say. Well, you see it pop up on your Telegram, and it's already the price. The price has already moved by several pips. It's because they've sat there, waited for it to go several pips, and then already got their message, already sat there ready to go, and then put long at whatever level. And then by the time you're getting in, they've already moved their stop to break even, if it has carried on going higher. If it rolls over, then of course they're still going to have genuine sort of, so to speak, genuine stops. But a lot of the time they can get away with, if as long as that market just goes a few pips more, oh, I'm already at break even. And then you never get to break even because you've got in later. It's all BS. They've not genuinely gone long on that. They're calling it after the fact, once the market has already moved. So that's how these people, and then people that are following them thinking, oh, they're amazing trader, these people. There's loads of them out there doing this sort of thing. Oh, they're amazing. I've seen their calls. Yes, because they're after the fact. If they wanted to do it in absolute real time, put a microphone on and broadcast it live, not 10 seconds or so after the market has already moved. So that's how they get away with that sort of stuff. So don't be fooled into a lot of the narratives and the stories that you get told, because these people out there are all given levels, whether they're selling you an indicator package or they're selling you some amazing, whatever it might be, or a trading course or whatever. And don't get me wrong, the difficulty is that there are some genuine people out there who are genuine doing what they are doing. But you've really got to pick your way through. Ask them if they're regulated, if they're authorized here, especially here in the UK, because we've got a really powerful regulator in the UK. And why not? If they're as good as they say they are, why don't they manage money? Now, what they will say to you is, I don't need to manage money because, and I must admit, I didn't used to want to manage money myself. So why did I take that change in 2016, 8 years ago? For the very reason that I wanted to disassociate myself from all these trader gurus out there, because they won't want to do it. So that's the main reason. They don't want to do it. Why? Like the reasons that I've already given earlier on. Okay, what are some of the other things that these companies get up to? So let's take my FX book as an example. My FX book. A lot of scammers and the likes will upload trading results into the likes of my FX book from MT4. Anyone who shows you an MT4 statement or a my FX book statement, be very, very wary, because they can be hacked into. You can just Google that and you can find the hacks to get into it, and so they can make up all sorts of performance, and it's just, it's nonsense because it's not true. They can hack into it and then literally change the numbers around. Just go onto YouTube, you'll find people showing you how to do those very hacks. So anyone who wants to show you that sort of stuff, we can chuck that in the bin, because it's not genuine either. Then you've got, I guess you've got them people who will show you some, might show you some back-tested results and spreadsheets, where again they're just spreadsheets, so anything can be made up in that regard. Then you've got the huge track records, these equity curves that do this, especially on social trading sites. You'll see these traders on there with these huge returns of 900% plus in whatever period of time, and the equity curve looks like this. Often what it is it's usually some sort of system or whatever. It might be genuinely a trader clicking the buttons, but what they're doing is they're only banking the profitable trades, and what's actually happening is off the screen, so to speak, here are all their massive unprofitable trades. So they'll be sitting in unprofitable trades in open positions underwater and only banking those that go up. Now, you could say, well, what's wrong with that? Well, there isn't anything wrong with that, provided that overall net, they're not actually just losing masses of money, because that's what normally happens. These systems, these that are shown on social trading apps and the likes, very often I'm not saying they're a scam, but they are in a way, because what are the operators of these things doing? Where are they actually making their money? Now, there's two ways. One is there's going to be a point where a stage where there's some genuine performance here, and they'll be maybe getting a performance fee out of you, or maybe it's a follower fee on some of these big social trading platforms, without naming names, but most people know. So they'll get a follower fee because you're following along, maybe a performance fee, and also maybe a backhander in the commissions generated through the brokers from all the trades that are being taken. So that's another way that these are making the money. And then what happens is they'll have loads of these systems on these social trading apps, and then when this one completely falls over, which they always do, usually you never get to see all of this performance, but sometimes they generally will make some massive performance, but then they'll end up being even more massive open losses as well. And so what happens is the followers end up losing loads of money following these sorts of systems, which on paper look amazing with these lovely smooth equity curves. So stay away. If you see an equity curve and that type of performance running into hundreds and hundreds of percents, if not thousands, just have a word with yourself. Give yourself a slap around the head and say, is this realistic? So in reality, when it comes to all of these trader gurus who are the point is, it's the trader gurus who are making the claims. The ones who are just getting on with it, just getting on with the business of trading, who are not making these massive claims, they're probably more likely to be genuine. But I went to this show last week and I came away and I felt like having a shower with a very hard piece of soap to try and get this slime off from the amount of these people that are there that are just working the room, selling to the punters, so to speak, as much as they can. Come and have a call with us. Yeah, speak to, and they're big business operations as well. Yeah, book a call, then you've got another sales call, then you've got another one, and they're geared up to selling courses to you. There's nothing wrong with their businesses, and there's nothing wrong with that, but just go into it wide-eyed and having your eyes wide open as to, right, how much is this going to cost me relative to what I'm trading with, and what I genuinely think is a realistic sort of performance that I can achieve. The people that are saying 1,000%, the people that are making all sorts of claims on their trading and how how amazing they are as traders, can you genuinely follow that? If they want to make these claims, but then you say, yeah, actually in live, I can't actually follow that person because it's delayed on Telegram or whatever it is. There's loads of people out there like that. So, and then right the way through to the equity curve people on the social trading platforms. Again, if you're seeing 900% performance or 1,500% or whatever it is, ask yourself the question, what would Charlie say? What are Charlie's brokers who Charlie trades with? Who are they saying is their top traders? None of their top traders are making 1,500% in the space of, less than a year or whatever. Be realistic. You have to be realistic. Even if you go back to Market Wizards and you go back to the original, one of my favorite books of all time, and some of the performance of those Market Wizards was outstanding, truly outstanding. But you have to also put it into context. Some of that performance was in the 1970s and into the 1980s. We're in a very different world today that we're in then. And some of those traders I've heard of private conversations that they've had behind the scenes, and many of them have admitted they would never be able to do that type of performance today. So, now don't get me wrong, there are those unicorn traders who come out, like I've already said, who can every year put in 200% a year. That is incredible, but they're not even a 1% of traders. They're probably not even a 0.01. They're not even 0.1% of traders. Be realistic. There are some people who you're never going to be like them. And I don't want to be pessimistic, but forget those people who are doing 200% a year. They are so rare. But don't get me wrong, I've done trader challenges where I have done some, what I believed, incredible returns. But I couldn't do that on a main account year after year after year. I'm pretty realistic on that. I do these trading challenges that I've done over the years, and one of them I completely lost on. So you have to be realistic, and you're not going to be making, I'm sorry, but that type of return. And the reason I know it is because I've got countless relationships at the broker end. They have all the information. They know what they would know if they had plenty of traders making 1,000% a month or 1,000% a year every year. They don't. Don't get me wrong, they have some great trading stories where a trader might have put £30,000 in with them and have turned it to $1 million over a period of, a couple of years or so. Most of the time, that's just because they've got in and just ended up having a great run on a single trade. And they've just held and added to the position. They've done things like that when you hear those sort of stories. In the main, short-term traders, no one's making 1,000% a year or more. That's not the case. So the very best, like I've said, more likely 200% a year. And even then, that chap who's making 200% a year that I just talked to you about here, he's an ex-banker, city banker himself, multi-millionaire. And he's like Rain Man. He's got a mathematician's brain. Most of us aren't like that. So let's take it back a little bit. Be a little bit more realistic with your expectations from the market. And don't listen to these utter charlatans out there. If they can't back up and say, yeah, oh, actually, yes, I'm regulated or whatever. I'm an authorized. I'm an authorized for what I do. I manage money professionally. Then you got to at least ask some questions there. They'll have some good answers as to why they don't. Again, you've got to be very careful there. And don't get me wrong, there'll be some genuine ones out there who genuinely do not want to trade money for other people. It is, again, a big pressure, a big responsibility trading for other people. I do it because of, if I want to be a trader educator, I've got to prove as to why I deserve to be a trader educator. So that's why I do it. Don't get me wrong, some people are still not going to want to do it, but just be very careful. More so, if you've got someone who says, look, just join my community. I'm not making any promises to you, but we're just going to trade away every day, or whether they're intraday or swing trading or whatever, and they're going to genuinely help you with your trading journey, great. But ask yourself the question, if you're getting into a program of trading courses where it's £1,500 for the first course, and then you can do the next one and that's £3,000, then the next one is £6,000, you have to start asking yourself, are you going down the right path? And if you've got trader gurus on social media who are making all these wild claims, again, you've got to be serious about the realities of trading returns. Social trading, what they get up to and how they can just upload these historical returns, buys them a track record, away they go, get loads of followers, and then you end up just losing money following it. If someone says, actually my track record is I make 20% a year, I would believe that person over someone who's saying they're making 500% a year. So have a dose of reality. Don't see trading as a get rich quick. You all know this in your heart of hearts. Don't get me wrong. I've got traders who, now I'm saying it, I've got traders who on their main accounts have made between 50 and 100% in a year. But I've also got plenty of traders who don't take that type of risk in order to make that kind of return. And they're not bothered about trying to make that sort of return. So just be realistic about what these people out there are doing when you're getting hit. So when you're on your Instagram feed or whatever, and you get some trading thing come up, think about it and think, oh, okay, why has this come up on my Instagram feed? Oh, okay. Is it sponsored? Are they paying to be there? Are they paying to be and they want to tell you all this nonsense, whatever it might be. They've all got a story. Oh, the banks are out to get you is another one. The banks are out to get you. Come to me because I'm going to show you where to put your stop losses because the banks will run the markets to get you. Oh yeah, really? I've got ex-bankers in my community who used to run billions and who have confirmed, yeah, we're not really that bothered about what retail traders are doing because retail traders aren't big enough for them to bother doing sweeps and all this stuff that you're getting sold to on. So consider all of these things, the stories, the narratives that they're trying to sell you when it's coming up on social media. Okay, why is it coming up on my social media? They've paid for an advert to come up. Why are they doing that? Because they want to sell courses. all I'm doing is sitting here doing what I love. I don't pay to advertise, don't do any of that stuff. I just love doing what I do. I don't do it for free because that would be wrong, doing it for free, because what I learned many years ago is you should never charge nothing for when you're training someone or trying to help someone. This actually came from a therapist, actually, 25 years ago. And he said, I never do therapy for free, even for friends or family, because they'll always undervalue the therapy. And that struck a note with me all at that time. He said, that's halfway there. So there has to be a charge, there has to be some pain, so that motivates people. But and so therefore, yeah, like anyone else, I would charge. But I think that what I do is reasonable in that regard. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't care. If someone doesn't want to join me, that's fine. I'm not going out there spending money on advertising and everything else to get people to join me. So all I'm interested in is being part of my community of my traders and trading money professionally as well, and having that authenticity to what I do. So coming back to these people, you have to ask yourself whether they're online or you've been to a Forex Expo or whatever. And don't get me wrong, I like going to these Forex Expos. I'll go and do a presentation because I'll get invited to go and ask, oh, could you come down and do a presentation? Yes, I'll go and do that. And there are some genuinely good people at these events. But I would say that 60 to 70% of the people that are presenting to you at these shows are absolute charlatans. And it's the same or it's even worse online once you start coming onto social media and the likes. So that's my rant here. I went to a show and I felt yuck, ick, seeing the stuff that was going on. Not all of the stuff, but when I'm hearing these stories of these people, and I heard this guy talking about the 1500 into 40,000, and I've seen this guy over the years. He's just a charlatan, like so many come and go, but he's obviously still around. And it's just look at the tricks that they will use to try and convince you to join them, and just be careful out there, whether it's social trading like I'm using here in this example here, whatever it is, just be careful. Because it's a dirty industry. Don't think you're going to be making thousands of percents a year. If you do, good luck to you. But and I'm sorry to destroy or upset your goals there. But you have to have a dose of reality as to what the reality actually is out there. That's my rant. And I'm sure that some people are going to be upset by what I've said today, because they'll be like, no, I thought I was going to be making thousands of percents a year. And I'll get some people say, oh, yes, but Charlie, I have made 500%. Yes, I'm sure you genuinely have. Come back to me in 5 years' time and you've done that every year for 5 years without blowing it up. So be realistic and don't believe a lot of the nonsense that is spouted out there.